Recording in progress. There we go.
Okay. So are you recording it?
I am recording it indeed.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So we have a record of it in the event you want to upload it onto YouTube or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's great. Good to see you.
Yes, it's good to speak to somebody outside of the forest, with the exception of
Oh, sure. So the forest. Tell me about the forest.
well, I get to talk to the francolins, the nyala, and the squirrels. The tree squirrels come along. It's and the trees themselves. You know, the trees are very receptive.
Yeah, and the earth.
Oh, you know, she's been beautiful. You know, she's just been holding space and blanketing me, which is beautiful, absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Okay, you look pretty settled there.
Well, I think, you know, this is just a way station right now for the journey onward, because as much as I've come to this spot here, there is another spot that's holding for me. So they're saying, okay, it's going to be a minute before I get to the next spot. So this is just a way station to anchor me and to build the Ascension vehicle, because the body is the Ascension vehicle.
Yeah,
which is,
yeah.
I think on the 1st of May will be almost 6 months that I've been here.
Oh, really? Okay. So yeah, the body is the essential vehicle, and my friend, I tell you, that is such an important statement, hey? Because yeah, so you know, I've been down for the last few days, and again, it was the body that just, you know, wherever, because we're going through so much, and whenever we start trying to process, well, specifically in my case, process through the mind and process through energetics and new realization, in the end, it was the body that said, okay, well, we'll do away with all of that. We'll clear, we'll keep you, we literally will stop you in your tracks.
Horizontal, yeah, you go horizontal.
Totally horizontal. Well, horizontal to the time that I wasn't hanging over the toilet. Near man. Yeah, so yeah, but just to your statement that it's the body is the ascension vehicle.
Yeah, that is your spaceship. You know, it's given to you as a gift from the creator, and people have been abusing it. I wouldn't say abusing, they've been misled in a lot of ways to say that, you know, the death is the end all be all of you, and you only live once, and people just blow their ability to comprehend what's divinity within.
That's very interesting. So I've been last night I've been channeling a few words in terms of, and I actually want to share, and some of it that just came to me. Wow, it was so that I hope I can read it. Oh yeah, so you know how we have this thing of, and many people use this word, instead of enjoyment, we're starting to speak about enjoyment because it's in here.
Yes.
Have you heard that? And last night it came to me that, you know how everything was inverted? Everything was just thrown, like, to me, it was literally shown a few months ago that the inversion, a matrix or whatever you call it, the inversion literally happened. It felt like it is a, you know, a garment that was literally turned inside out.
Yes.
Literally turned inside out.
It's basically the tree pose.
The tree pose.
It's not the tree pose, the headstand pose.
The headstand pose. Although yes, the headstand pose is so good because it gives us that different perspective, and it gets the blood into our head, and it gives us a total, you know, in fact, I will tell you, hold the thought on the headstand, because there's something else I want to chat to you around the infinity and that. But anyway, just coming back to the enjoyment, the inner enjoyment. And to me, it was, again, last week, you know, we go through a whole lot of things like different emotions. And even now, I said to you earlier, I'm feeling great today. I know it's just a feeling. I know it's just the joy moving through, and it's always joy, whether it's sadness or whether it's, feeling good, or whether it's whatever, anger. But then I thought of the word enjoyment, how we've been taught to enjoy things. And if you say those words slowly, just say enjoy, end joy, end your joy. And I'm thinking,
Yes.
holy fuck,
It's
that's
like
what we've been taught. To
a
say,
play
I
on
want
words.
to enjoy, I want to end my joy. And you know how important this, and I'm thinking, we say that all the time. I just want to enjoy myself.
You want to be in the state of enjoy. You're right.
You want to enjoy, not end. End is like finish off my joy. And wow, that's
It's like the
interesting.
it's like the greeting in the morning when you see somebody. I've refused to do this, and I say "Vanakam." It's good morning. What the hell? Be in a state of good morning.
Oh, yeah, that's another
Yeah.
one. That's absolutely. You see how we've been conditioned to, in our spoken word, to bring in this kind of energy. End our joy, be in mourning.
It's called syntax creation. When you have a whole lot of
Yeah.
words in sequence, and they're meant to bring out a certain energy in you. And I found the person, I think all the way back in 2010, 2011, that did it for me was Sandra Ann Taylor. And her books that teach you how to resyntax your vocabulary to line them up with your higher self. And that was one of the most awesome journeys that I've ever undertaken, to resyntax language.
Yes. The words to me, are so because I love words. I love writing. I love reading. I love all of that. But the words it's actually the codes. I mean, if you think back of the alphabet and the number system, it's all the codes. And in as much as we have all these teachers from outside, hey, we have access. We have access to all of those codes. I had a whole list of things that just came to me, which was like, I've made scribbles here. It is just, I want to go back to that infinity. So here I was thinking, how we draw the infinity sort of on its side, and it's the 8, but on its side, in the center point. And we've been also taught that we need to stand upright. We need to, be straight. It's up above and down below. And that's the only way, like the figure 1, like we stand up. And I was thinking that, and coming back to the headstand, that's just one way. There's the head, there's that's just one way. There are so many ways, and that is actually where, how the 8 is completion, total feminine energy of
Balance.
the 8. Balance, coming balance, not actually completion, balance, coming back into that complete. But balance is not just standing up. Balance is balance in every direction, lying down, inverted, upright, whatever. It's the totality of balance.
It reminds me of something that I processed recently, the yin yang symbol. Okay.
Yeah.
When you see good, okay. When you see good, you must be able to see the bad in the good. Okay.
Yeah.
And when you see the bad, you must be able to see, and that brings about complete balance and harmony.
Yeah. You see, and that's the thing. I haven't really liked the term balance, because balance was, still has a very connotation of, I need to be in the center point, not too much of this, not too much of that. I mean, to sort of, it always have that, it's got that energy, well, to me, that I'm walking this precipice, I need to be very careful, not too much of this, and it's exactly here. Whereas when I started saying that next word that you said, harmony, that integration, where it's not about being too little of this or too much of, then it's all of this and all of that.
Yes.
In one whole. And that's balance. Yeah, balance just has that. I like integration. So coming back to the headstand and the inverted thing, it's not about, is it this way or that way, is it the good or the bad? It's just everything. And you know, when an eight spins,
Yes.
and if it's not only, then what is on top later on is on the side, and later on, you know, as you spin, it becomes the whole spiral. It doesn't stand in one direction only.
Okay. And I meant to tell you this, you know, we're discussing concepts that's far above what people would understand from a dualistic nature, okay? Because they are doing duality, okay, we have now pushed up into a unified consciousness field, okay? And that is where you need to be in order to activate your ascension vehicle. Now, if you look at your pineal gland is basically the projector of your consciousness, okay? So in order for you to balance this consciousness, you have the right brain and the left brain and the right brain, masculine, feminine, doing that harmonizing. So that is the way.
But it's a constant dance.
Yes, it's constantly, and you're right. The eight, it goes all the way. It depends.
Yeah,
sometimes the feminine takes over, or the masculine takes over when it's needed.
And you're so right. The concept is to get to that stage where it's above the duality, but the duality is intricately part of that. So you need to experience the duality. You know, the eight can't be formed. The eight is, you know, went through all the numbers, and I'll tell you what I've seen in the numbers, even, you know, immense codes in every single number leading up to where we get the 7, where it's actually capped. Remember, the Bible told us the 7 is the complete. It's the full. 7 is the, whatever they say, this God number. It's 7 days. Everything is 7 days is the number of completion. But think of the 7. The 7 is a pure masculine. There we stop.
Right.
And the 8 is actually where the harmonization, where the integration comes in. We've been taught, okay, 7. Now 8 comes in with this integration, this harmonization. I don't even want to say the balance, but to get to the 8, you would have had to go from the source creation 0, the masculine 1, all of the other, every single number has its own journey. Think of the 2. You have 0, which is the feminine. You have 1, which is the masculine. And this all came to me last night. And then you have the 2, which starts with very feminine, almost like a swan, a very feminine, and it's got the solid base. That's where duality started. It brought the 2, but it didn't integrate the 2 so very, it's like, okay, we have to have the feminine and the masculine. And then 3 came. 3 very much of very very feminine. If I think of a 3, I think of breasts, of feeding, of there comes in the feminine again, because again this 2 was the duality, and in the 3 is almost the child where we need to express. And then comes in the 4 directions. We need order again. Just the way it's shaped, you can even see, and so forth and so on, until we get to the 8. And I'll speak about the 9, but the 8, where it's this complete harmonization. But we have to have, in order to get to 8, you would have had to have the journey of the duality, to your point, and then the ascension starts. Or the ascension is all the way, but then it kickstarts, I guess.
Well, the thing is that what is being said is that it's a never-ending journey.
Yeah.
It's a never-ending journey.
Infinity.
Yeah. So the more you harmonize, the greater your awareness of what infinite consciousness is all about.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You're given a lopside to go. I mean, you go lopside on that side, you've got to balance, and then you find, hey, this is what it's all about. I mean, if I had to go and say, people, you know, guys, the earth is flat, they will laugh at me sick and silly, you know. But it comes with time to understand the dynamics.
It comes, absolutely. And it's an interesting thing, this whole flat and round that comes in. Again, we have to go through duality. Is it flat? Is it round? Then there's arguments for this. I believe it is whatever you create it to be. It's a much higher perspective. But in a certain dimension, it is either or, because it's in that dimension where you need the duality until, and then as I love that analogy of it gets lopsided. It's a constant twisting, and then the eight's on its head. It's never going to be just that. Even when I said earlier, I'm feeling great, it's just that side which pops out now.
Okay, and you're right in terms of it being flat and it being a sphere. In the physical holographic state, it is flat. Okay, so you are basically in like a massive spaceship environment in which
that dome.
With the firmament above it. Okay,
the firmament.
But the consciousness, which is now resident in outside of it, is all spheres. Okay, so
so it's depending on which dimension.
Yeah, as you ascend, now you come out of the 3D flat Earth, and you're now going into a vibration that's closer to spheres in consciousness, because it is an impossibility for you to go from 3D all the way into 5D and then 6D. 6D is like you without body, you're just pure consciousness, right? So in order for you to go across, you have a breaking up of these layers, and as you increase your frequency, you go higher and higher, and eventually you'll end up on a sphere,
which is the original feminine, the initial creation of everything.
Zero.
And that's exactly our journey. If you think of the numbers, I'm coming back just to linking that up to the early, just think of the numbers, how that all created, and whether in one reality certain things may hold true for individuals. You know, like I say, for me, I believe at the moment it is wherever I place my attention on. But I do understand, I totally resonate with the disc theory, or theory, if you, or perspective. I'd rather say perspective, because theory seems such a concept of perspective. I totally see that disc perspective. But ultimately, this journey is about constantly going into new perspectives, into higher sense of seeing it, to go to the sphere, which is actually the beginning. It's where the egg of life comes from. If you think of sacred geometry, it's going back to the sphere, the original feminine. And then it creates all again. It never stops there. It's not the end. It's again the creation of, but from a different perspective, from a higher perspective.
Okay,
because people can very.
When you say 9, okay, if you look at if you look at vortex maths, it starts with 9 at the top end and it's 1. Where is the 0? So is the 9 and the 0 the same?
So that's again what I saw. So we have the 8, which is this total harmonization of everything, and then somehow it comes to the 9 as the completion. I said earlier the 8, but the 9 is the completion, where it starts with that figure, the feminine, the sphere, and it's got this, but it's anchored through the masculine, the base. And so the 9 is a very feminine figure. Again, the 8 is but the 9 is when it's total, when that sphere just, and the completion point is literally like not even a split second. It's almost like, whereas the 8 is infinity, it's always the completion point, because there's actually no completion point. Think of the 9. It's literally when the 8 just gets tilted on its head, and it's the feminine, the creation, with the aspect of the masculine grounding. But that's a split second. And it's complete in that split second, infinitely small moment, until it becomes the 1 again, until the masculine takes over to spark the whole journey again. So the 0 is contained in the 9.
Okay. Got it now.
The 0 is contained in the 9.
I love that vortex maths in terms of the diagram and how it works. And you brought up the thing about the 9, and there was no 0 in that, So the 0 is inherent in the 9.
Yeah. So because otherwise that's what I'm saying, it's such a split second, that completion, because completion, there's never any completion. So even I posted something the other day about, for me, going into a completion cycle. And then I realized I'm actually not in a completion cycle. I'm just in the cycle again. Before I realized that, we often think, we want to reach this and then I'm complete and then, I can sit but I'm already in the next cycle, because that complete literally just happened, the 0 in the 9, like split second. Whereas, because what is 0? 0 is pure creation.
It is, yes.
It's just pure creation, pure potential, pure possibility, where there's nothing influencing it. But there's that little masculine that's part of it, that grounding in this moment. Like I say, that moment is so quick. It just grounds it in that moment, ready to create again with a masculine state, the 1 again. But then it actually goes into 10, because now we're
splits it, the 1 and the 0.
We've split it.
It comes back. It comes back to the 1.
It comes back to the 1. It comes back to the 1, because in numerology, it will just be 1 again. It won't be 10. It's just a 1 from a different perspective.
I'm without, what did I say to her? I said this to Kameshwar. I'm without beginning, no ending.
Exactly. So the beginning, the ending is actually just
a new beginning.
You don't even see it. Once our Merkaba spin like 9/10 of the speed of light, there's you won't even notice that finishing point. It's actually not there. It just becomes part of the new. Whereas when you break it down into infinite detail, you'll see, it's just ending beginnings the whole time. But it spins in a vortex, and that's what the 9 is the complete, just there, but it's such a short moment that it's just all over again.
It's very, very subtle, yes.
Very subtle.
I was telling you in our last conversation on the phone about the surges in energy, because the vehicle is now basically harmonizing itself and clearing out any impurities in it. Okay. Because we have been subject to impurities on multiple levels, not just physical, there's mental, emotional, you name it. Okay. And what happened was that over the last couple of days, I think it's the last week, one of the spots that has been really niggly for me has been at the back of my cranium, but it's been on the inside of my cranium. It's been on the inside of my cranium, and I've been healing it using the processes of the energy surging together with the breath. So you're basically using the pranayama processes to direct the energy into that area to heal it. Okay, and last night it gave way, it healed. Okay. But as the healing process, this morning I feel at the back here, I've got a little pimple. So that aspect which was inside is now pushed out.
Popped out.
Yes. And what she said
is that where like your ultra major chakra?
It's off the chakra, just below. It's not. You see, the action was on the inside, inside the cranium, but it's now come down here on my neck area. Okay, so it's basically pushed out there, the closest point, exit point.
Yeah.
And what is being said is that you leave it now, it'll naturally form a head, and it will now pull out whatever problems associated with that area is there. So it'll heal, it's self-healing.
Yeah,
So,
it's like unplugging from the matrix there, that alter major where we literally, how Nia in the movie was also plugged
up.
into the literally hooked up there. And obviously when you unplug, like literally you have to, there's the little bit of residue that
Comes out.
like cutting another umbilical cord, but it's literally that chakra, that higher chakra that's literally unplugging from the matrix.
Yes, and we are.
And in fact, just to your point, the other night I was going into a deep meditation and I was literally concentrating on that area as well. And when at one stage, it felt like, I was being pulled like this, being pulled back. And it's a very fine, like, it's like, felt to me like spider webs in there that I had to pull out, very thin, but, like a messy spider web that it's all contorted. But I could literally feel that almost like somebody's pulling on my ponytail here at the back, pulling my head back. And so it's interesting that because that I know is the area where we've actually been plugged into the matrix, the literally, that chakra.
The Matrix is a documentary.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a science or drama or an action movie. No, it is absolutely. Yeah.
So, and the other thing I wanted to talk about, is that people need to become aware of the factors that influence your body upgrade.
Yeah.
Okay. And okay, hang on for me. You've gone
Hang
sideways now.
on for, I see that.
Is it? Oh, almost fell over. Hang on. Are you still there, Celeste? What happened to Celeste?
I'm back.
Did I lose you momentarily?
There
you are.
You lost me momentarily. So what were you saying when you lost me?
I wanted to say, it's important that the beings out there know what are the factors that influence the ascension vehicle. Okay, because we are dealing now with a range of thinking that is beyond duality. And in order to get to that stage, what do you need to do? I'm unconcerned about the dynamics of your mindset and how your mindset needs to jumpstart into the consciousness realm. I'm trying to say, what are the physical aspects that you need to become aware of in order to ascend? Okay, and one of the primary things is energies and how you assimilate energies, and that being primarily food. Okay, what are you doing about your food? What are you doing about your water? What are you doing about your media inputs into your life? Okay, and how you're dealing with that, because your food is highly contaminated. We know that. Okay, currently there's a lot of action on the planet to kill off the food that's been contaminated. The white hats are working around the clock, destroying facilities that have contaminated foods, everything from GMO to poisons, to DNA. Let's not talk about what sort of DNA they're putting in and where they're getting these other ingredients into the mix. Okay, which is dumbing the spiritual aspect of beings. And then the water itself is being influenced using chemicals, and there have been all sorts of other things dumped into the water. Okay, they've been liquefied stuff that's actually dumped into the water.
Right.
Okay, so they need to know, okay, these are the things that you need to become aware of, because you will get sick drinking that water in the cities.
Right.
What
Right.
wonderful to see. And the other aspect is being the energy aspects of what you simulate. Are you watching the mainstream narrative of the controlling agenda that's influencing your consciousness, or have you stepped away from that, and are you able to discern what is correct, what is incorrect, and where are they leading you into a crawl sheep environment? Okay, so that's very important. And then people as well, how you interact with people, what sort of energies you're attracting.
Yeah.
So those are vital aspects. And I think one of the aspects that humanity has forgotten is that there's sexuality. Your sexuality is your rocket fuel that propels your spiritual evolution. Okay.
100%.
See, bring us at the dawn.
Oh, did I give you that book?
I've got like 5 or 6 copies of it, girl.
No, you're kidding me. So have we. That book, we have about, I think it's about 5 copies. And what we've started doing is we literally, on a rotation basis, give it to people. And those that resonate immediately say, hey, no, please, can I buy the book? Can I just have this book? And those that resonate, the copies come back and we circulate more. That is brilliant.
Well, the thing is that
chapter 9 talks about or one of the chapter that talks about the sexuality
as a quickly first, because you're talking about sexuality. I think I'm losing you again. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I'm here. Chapter okay. What?
Chapter 20, sexuality and bridge to higher levels of consciousness. 100%. Okay. The orgasm has been distorted from its original purpose. Your body has forgotten the cosmic orgasm of which it is capable of. Okay. So there is an orgasm in every breath. And humanity, there is a book, I'll send you the book. Okay, I read, because I must be honest, all the way back in 2011, the body was generating the spontaneous orgasms. Okay. Especially when you get into a state of complete relaxation. It is now generating, and you're trying to figure out what the hell is it doing, you know? And eventually you master the process over time.
Yeah. So this is a topic, this topic can go on for hours and hours and hours, because you hit such an important topic there of understanding the life force, understanding the flow of sexuality, of understanding really, you can call it Kundalini, you can call it whatever you want to. It's that understanding. And it's also not about, reading books is all fine, but it's to start experiencing that now. So again, we have to start with perhaps the duality, understanding the two, hey, masculine and feminine, and I'm not talking male, female, and then experiencing that integration. Yes, the books can help us, but hey, we don't have so much time. Hey, we can literally tap into that energy right now and understand that that's the key. And when I say key to ascension, I just want to backtrack on all the needs and, must and shouldn'ts and whatever. I think those things are helpful, but I also think that even this way that we say, oh, that's necessary and now we need to do this, it takes us very much into a very structured process. I mean, thinking even about how we build our light bodies. We started from a very, let's say, correct process of, how to build the Makaba. Right. But once you start building it, you don't have to, oh, this is what I need to do. It just comes naturally. Even this need to have certain foods. Yes, as you vibrate, how your vibration will guide you to where it's best. Even this, oh, I need to, have this in place and all of that. Your vibration will attract the kind of things that is best suited for you, instead of having the strict. I'm way very much into, and that's good we speak about that, and probably we can have a whole lot of topics on the masculine approach, which is, this is what you need to do, and that's how you, and like, hey, this is just naturally what I'd like. And the fact, to me, this is key, how we enjoy our food, because we've even made eating and sex, all of those kind of things, are very much we need to do it like this to get somewhere. We've forgotten the real, and I go back to what I said earlier about the enjoyment of food, the enjoyment, regardless of, oh, now I have to, have it all fresh and all of that. Wow, I can totally enjoy savoring that morsel, savoring my partner or the sex or the sexuality. That to me is where not even the feminine comes in. That's where we come back to our inner child, the integration of the both, where we have the processes of, yes, we need to be aware of that and understand all that. Yes, we bring in the creativity of the feminine, of how to, and then the child steps forward and they say, hey, this is just for the taking. I'm just going to, and a child doesn't think of, is this good for me? Or they just go and they're in utter divine bliss, pleasure, whether they're eating, whether they're having, obviously, to get that childlike principle in what you do. That to me is really the key. The key is not in the rules or in the feminine. The opening is the child, the eye of Horus. We just, there's the divinity, and the key is the method is joy, not this, that, the other. All of those are helpful tools.
It is, I was having this discussion with Surya, okay, and she was saying, this process is like, you have the sunflower, you are the sunflower, okay. There is a joy in opening a petal at a time. Okay. Why do you want to see this? Why do you want to see the sunflower all bloomed out? Okay. She says you're going through this process of opening up as a sunflower. Okay. And when you do that, you open one petal at a time, you savor it, and then go on to the next petal. As opposed to looking at the end product of a beautiful sunflower. You are beautiful already in whatever phase of the sunflower you are, but enjoy and savor the process of one petal at a time.
Savoring, I love that word, savoring every single moment. Whenever I stopped savoring anything, and I'm talking about life, even my ascension, my food, my sex, whenever I stop savoring it, what I get is I get a mouth issue. I get all sorts of things. And then I'll think back, what did I eat and all of that, because I get a swollen tongue. I get like little blisters in my mouth. And this has started happening over the last, maybe 3 to 4 years. And I've nailed it down to, I've stopped savoring something. And that's, the tongue gives me the message. So I love that word, savoring every petal. It's already part of the whole sunflower or whatever an analogy you use. Yes. But it's that each that petal. And that's where I'm saying that is with childlike wonder. How you open up, again, I'm coming back to the child. By the way, I've also had something about that word wonder, but I won't go into that now. But that just triggered me like, that's interesting how that word come along. But yeah, you're right. Savoring every single petal. Yeah, love that word. Coming back to even the Kundalini, coming back to what is our tool? To me, what is our greatest tool? Yes, we can have all these things of, this is with as the body ascends higher, your body will, naturally guide you to things, but there's also certain things that will make it easier, like the food you eat. Certainly, you need to be aware of the water. It's like that paternal guidance that comes in the masculine. But then what is our biggest tool to Ascension to me is that enjoy, the savoring of that moment, the taking all of those tools, and just being like a child and say, hang on. And by the way, but joy, I don't mean just, happiness and smiling. I'm talking about that constant state of taking life in.
Yeah. Talking about the inner child and joy, during the 2020 lockdown period, one of the most profound things, even before that time I was doing this, I put the music on and just free dance. Okay, free dance, and it's
at
just
home, like in your little lockdown compartment.
Yes. So what has happened is that the child in you just dances to whatever music it's coming, okay, and whatever style that it has, in erratic or essential fashion, depending on that music and that time. And the joy that the body experiences is unparalleled, because you're now completely full in every cell with this flowy, dancey, okay, joy. And children, before they can even walk, dance.
Yes. You're so right. There's the answer's right in front of us. A child doesn't want to walk somewhere. Even my little puppy, they run. They're exuberant. It's the movement. It's the constant. And coming back, I'm just thinking of that ache. That's that joy. And sometimes it's sensual. Sometimes it's very like deep. Sometimes whatever it is. It's whatever it is.
I think I haven't given you the book. Okay, I'll give you the book. 2 books. Joy, the child. The other factors that I found is very, very important is, apart from your breath, is the sun. Because the sun.
Oh, yeah.
Because Surya is bringing in the tachyonic and the gamma particles that impact on your DNA. Okay. And with the other combination of factors, you'd find that you're flowering. The sunflower is actually flowering, and it's basically
flower that is in the sun. Yeah.
Sunflower, you're flowering as a result of the sun.
Yeah.
So, and the result is that your awareness reaches new epochs.
Oh, coming back to that's the ultimate, to just see the sun, and also what we've believed and indoctrinated and all of that, just coming back to that physical presence of the vitamin D, getting into the sun, getting that activation, the warmth, and then also what it means in a bigger perspective of here comes the sun, which people have made in a masculine in a male figure, the sun, called the sun, in terms of religion. But just that sun, that activation, that's so important, because nothing, and this is where I think the love and light, when it's too feminine, when there's no spark, that's just how life's created. This is basic spirituality, Tantra 101. It's the 101. It's the divine feminine needs to be sparked by the masculine sun, by the warmth, by that penetration.
Yes.
So it's totally important. People can just get outside, even if they know nothing about this, just step out in the sun and feel it. Wow, it will make such a difference.
And stop using sunblock.
And stop using sunblock, for heaven's sake. Yeah.
Just get toasty out there, get browned out.
Hey, this is so awesome. Hey, a heads up that I need to leave the school soon, because I have a client. But this is so important. This is, to me, this just opened up so many, like I said, this can be a discussion, and I've got so much that just wants to come out. but I'm also I so much also want to hear from the masculine, from your side. And okay, hey, let's talk about this, let's straighten it out. It's it's a bit, feels like there's all these possibilities that we can dance, but sometimes we need a bit of masculine direction. Oh, okay, let's talk about the food, let's talk about the sexual activation now, let's talk about the physical body now, let's talk about dance. So that would be great if we can direct some of the conversations in terms of, I mean, it flows, but to even have a few conversations.
Okay. Before you go, the other thing I must tell you is that, you have the light sun and then you have the dark sun. You have two spheres, okay, generating. One's generating heat, is giving you the light, and the other one's giving you the darkness, okay. The darkness, in terms of my current location, the walls are white, okay. When you are given the opportunity of activating your pituitary complex, like your pineal pituitary complex, which is your limbic system, you usually go into a dark room, okay, completely black, like the masters used to do it in caves. Okay. So at night, what happens is that when the sun goes down, the dark sun is also giving you a form of radiation for your DNA upgrades, and people are unaware of this. And it peaks in the morning about 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock in the morning, it's now radiated all the way through, and it's your body is assimilated this, and the energy is like pounding your system, your energetic system.
That's
and it's
very
one of the best,
interesting.
it's one of the best times in the morning to actually get up, either do a tai chi or a yoga or a soft dance, and then meditate. And it's like, okay, your mind is crystal clear then.
Interesting. Again, I think all of these things naturally will feel into it. Naturally, we will wake up 3 a.m. and then we'll think, oh, okay, what is this all about? So naturally, but it's so good to sometimes, bring it back to, that's interesting. That's the kind of confirmation, the masculine confirmation, again, I call it, of the information, analyze this, seeing how this works. But even in the absence of all of that knowledge, hey, this is what's happening. There is this dark, because people have been afraid of the dark sun even. That's, no. That...
I tell you what, you give me a black environment, I can walk in there barefoot now, because in 2020, they had me blindfolded walking through my apartment at night during the lockdown process. So there was a first sort of dark room training where you had to blindfold yourself and you had to know every aspect of your room, and you had to walk through this environment.
Now you mentioned that, and you mentioned the masters earlier. I also believe, and this is just a thought because I need to run, I need to go now. This is just a thought of where you can take some of that. The masters, you and we, the leaders or whatever, we've been trained with very specific things. This is how it brings it in. The future, it's just going to have that, because we are not going to have to train the next people in, let's say, procedures, how to do this. It's going to be in the Akash, and they'll just do it. They'll just naturally know how to. So we're moving away again, I think, of this. It's very good to understand for even the Ascended Masters. This is how we were trained. This is how the stuff we do. But it's not to retrain everybody to do the same thing again. It's just to leave that next step there, and the next generation or whatever just picks up from there. They will naturally just know how to do it because the work's been done. We are them and they are us.
It's called quantum uploading into the unified consciousness.
Yeah. And it's great. It's a beautiful term. It's a beautiful term. So to me, it's like, okay, that's the term, that is it. that's absolutely, and the enjoyment taps it in.
Yeah.
Well, there's so much we can, I think we can maybe start this and have a little, a regular chat, and then you come up with a topic, I maybe come up with a topic, and then we bounce the ball around. There's so much
That will be nice, man. As long as we're staying away from the 3D matrix that's busy dissolving and the duality.
Yeah, but we need to sometimes, because we're in this three, and this is where the 5D happens. But yeah, I don't want to, hey, who knows? If it leads us to talk about a particular aspect that's currently presenting its 3D, let's look at that. That's just
heads up. This week we're busy amputating aspects of the stock exchange and cauterizing it.
Yay! Yay! Anyway, I've got to go. Love you, Stacks.
Okay.
And
love and hugs to everybody there.
Thank you. It's great.
Bye.
Bye.